What's up guys, it's Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here with another video, and I want to talk to you guys about a little bit more about Resident Evil Resistance and why it deserves more of a chance than it's getting. And I'm going to tell you why. Resident Evil has never been good at multiplayer. Trust me, I have played enough of them. I can admit that because I've played most games in the series. You know, a lot of the spin-offs I missed. I've played a few of the spin-offs, but I've played the mainline games. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6 with its co-op, where Resident Evil 6 has a little bit of multiplayer, but it's very throwaway. But when you look back to the older generations of Resident Evil games, Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 and Outbreak File 2, those would define Resident Evil multiplayer. Even though the community wasn't as big then, it should have been bigger, but it has a following nonetheless. Resident Evil Outbreak gave you the chance to play with the Resident Evil tank-like controls. You know, you guys heard me talk about that game in the past. You know, I've shown it on YouTube before, and I think I did a classic review on it. Resident Evil Outbreak, you would play with the shitty controls at the time, the tank controls. And a lot of people are criticizing Resistance for, oh, the controls are great in a single player environment, but not in a multiplayer environment. But I feel that that's the intention, and I'm going to tell you why. It makes it more challenging, the way it would be if we were still using the tank-like controls and the fixed camera angles. The zombies in the Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil, 2 and 3's remake, are very dangerous even by themselves if you don't shoot them down properly. So when you apply that to the multiplayer in real time with the mastermind, it keeps everything tense. You have to try to stick together, or if you are skilled enough to go off on your own, but it is dangerous, but that's also a tactic to throw off the mastermind. The game does have a lot of pluses. It has a lot of pluses to it. It's very fun. You can't deny that this game, Resistance, is fun. There's one thing I have not seen said about it saying that it's not fun. People are conflicted about it, and I'm not gonna lie and tell you that I'm not either. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss, and I might discuss in a separate video because I want to talk more about that loot box system, why people feel that it's non-invasive and invasive. But right now I just want to talk about the game itself, how you play the game, why it deserves a chance to be played. The Survivor gameplay is very tension-filled, though there needs to be some balancing. You could tell some characters or some creatures feel more powerful than the other, depending if you're playing as the mastermind or the survivor. But you can level up these classes. They say it's very grindy. Not really, it's not. My mastermind, in a day, just playing 3 rounds, I played 3 rounds back to back, and as the mastermind I got them up to level 10 very quickly. So I already unlocked all the masterminds and most of their abilities. And the survivors I'm working on now, which playing the survivor, you would think, are you going to be intimidated feeling that is it better to play as the mastermind over the survivor? Actually, it's fun to play as both. When you're playing alone, and if you're not playing with a team, you can still play this alone. It still frightens you, because at that point you have to worry about not only your own survival, you have to try to get out of the map by helping these people. So no matter what, it creates tension. And then when you're playing with friends and coordinating, it feels even better. It's very reminiscent to, this is what Resident Evil Outbreak, this is what a game mode would look like in Resident Evil Outbreak with the third-person fixed camera angles. And trust me, I played Outbreak a lot of it, and then when I had it on the PS2, I remember back then I used to play with my friends. We used to all be on our house phones on speakers when you had to press the button. Yeah, I'm that old, okay? But then when you get your friends together, we're all talking on the phone, playing Outbreak on our PS2s on our network at the time with the LAN cable network connection. So we used to have such a ball playing the game, and Resistance gives us memories of that. If it was done, if we were young now playing this, this would be our, so to speak, Outbreak game. But this has potential. I'll tell you why. You can update this with familiar locations, more familiar creatures for the mastermind to use, more evil masterminds, because the Resident Evil series has plenty of masterminds. Okay, I'm surprised Wesker wasn't on one of the choices, but don't count him out, him not being. You know, we could unlock special characters. We could play as familiar characters in this mode. They could add more game modes to make things more unique and interesting. You know, asymmetrical gameplays, asymmetrical multiplayer games are fascinating to me and interesting, like The Predator. I'm sad that I couldn't get footage on that because there was a lot that I wanted to say about that. But Resident Evil was on my priority. I'm still going to be streaming Resident Evil 3. Since I'm on vacation from work, I'm going to stream it to completion. And I want to try to stream Resistance, but I wanted to make the videos about it first. Because Resistance, you know, I have to play and get footage. But I'm finding myself coming back to Resistance every time I want to take from Resident Evil 3. You know, don't go into this multiplayer with high expectations, because compared to all the other Resident Evil multiplayers, and I know Outbreak is not the best standard, this is a step forward, at least. Give it a shot, give it a chance. It's what it deserves. It really is fun. You know what this feels like to me? This is the Resident Evil version of Friday the 13th, so to speak. Not in mechanics wise, but in the feel and premise of it, so to speak. And Friday the 13th was, you know, not the best game when it came out. It had a lot of problems, but at least this one's playable, functional. I haven't really had no connectivity issues. Maybe an odd glitcher there, and I think I only disconnected from one match out of quite a few I've had. It's just something about it keeps me coming back. Maybe I'm in the minority that wants to see Resident Evil have a multiplayer of sorts, but a really good one. But compared to the others from the past, you know, the raid mode, and I know the Mercenaries was fun back in the day, but people would prefer that. But who knows, maybe Capcom will update Mercenary modes to Resident Evil 3. You know, it's not outside the realm of possibility. If the fans demand it, you know that they're going to want to do it because they know this will get success. So either way, it could be a win-win. But with this multiplayer aspect, give it a go. If you're waiting for Resident Evil 3 to go on sale, or I hope that they also sell this separate. If it becomes its own game more and more, with more patches, more updates to expand it, and then if you want to get Resident Evil 3, if it's bundled together like that and you have to get Resident Evil 3, then wait for a sale, I would say. But I'm a Resident Evil fan, so of course I was going to buy the game. But for this, if they sell it separate, I could see this being a $20 multiplayer game on its own. Maybe $25 would be pushing it. But then that would be a fair price, fair notion. And then if they have a price for Resident Evil 3 going for $30, maybe $40, I would say that's slightly more fair. But with Resident Evil Resistance, I went into it with low expectations. I didn't expect much from it. I was fascinated by the idea, but I had to play it for myself to see if I really liked it or not. And I did. But there's certain videos that I saw that kind of take it out of proportion, throw things out of whack, you know, over-exaggerate things. I've been putting in plenty of time into this mode to know and to understand. So, if this was to come out on its own and I was to rate it, it gets a 6.5, close to a 7. It just needs more improvement. That's all I got to say about Resident Evil Resistance. I hope anybody that's interested in it, I hope this video helps you out in making your decision on playing it. This is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming, and I'm going to get back to playing as the Mastermind.